Cool cats, cool dudes, and divots in the grass. Welcome to We All Love Leeds, the show where we discuss our love of Leeds. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good, man. You?
I had to think of something quickly. I really should plan these well in advance. So, sorry, what's that, mate?
Saturday. It
feels really weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird. I'm used to this is the last thing I do in my weekend, and then I go to bed and get up for work, and the week starts. But here we are, Saturday night. Totally my fault, obviously, because I was basically like, yeah, sure, Gary, I'll take you to the world famous Jimmy's Buffet that I've been going on about for 15 years. Not 15, made that up. I've not even known Gary for 15 years. Anyway, how you doing, Ben?
I'm good. Bit. I've got over that now.
Just say thank you for accommodating me with my requests for.
No, that's all right. You've done it for me.
Yeah, I have to be fair, but still, and I probably will again. But again, thank you again. I'm just saying that out loud.
I didn't see a divot. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that bullshit. That was just lack of concentration. Shit, Ilan Melier. But we'll get to that. Fuck.
Oh, we will get to that, of course. But what I'm more thinking is because obviously we usually have it somewhat planned to some degree. This happened over the weekend. I've got nothing in terms of
memes.
Oh, there's no memes. That's a lie.
This is what Arsenal fans do to you. I've warned you about them. It's what happens.
Yeah, they take the memes out of me. Other than that, though, are you doing okay?
I'm very well. I'm not at work tonight, so it sort of helped because I would have had to stream from work tomorrow. I don't like doing it, but I'd rather do it than not do it, if you get me.
I understand.
So you've been up to out this week? Anything good? 2-game week, so it was.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it was the start of what's going to be a big slog, isn't it? Because playing one game a week since the season started has actually been quite nice. And then you get into 2 games a week, and then we got our 2 key players injured. Whether you consider them key players or not, but I think Leeds consider them key players.
Look, obviously we've not got cover now. That's the massive thing. I mean, Charlie Crew, that's it. But I'm quite confident these two can do a job together in this league, good enough to keep us in touch.
I thought they were quite good last night.
Yeah, I did. I thought Tanaka was, he was steady, and I thought Rothwell, a couple of mistakes here and there, but genuinely, the difference you get with these two is less backwards and more.
Yeah.
And they seem a bit more press resistant. You know, they can turn out with the ball and whatnot. So.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If you turn around to me in 3 weeks' time, they've decided Ampadu will be back in a few weeks, I'll be thrilled. But by no means, because I think they are, you know what I mean. They're fine.
Yeah, it'd be nice for them to give Farker a question of how would you take one of them out to put Ampadu back in. You know, let's hope that's the situation, but.
Before the show, we had a hello from Anders. That was at 5 p.m. actually. Cheers, Anders. Hello. How you doing?
I wonder what time that is in Sweden. Are they 2 hours?
No, I think they're 1 hour in front. I only know that because Sam Greenwood's in Norway.
Yeah.
So it's roughly. It's roughly the same. They could be really far apart. I wouldn't like to walk from Norway to Sweden. But you know what I mean. It's time zones probably similar. What were we doing? Well, I suppose. Well, I guess my plan was I didn't really want to take up too much of everyone's time or your time on a Saturday night. So I figured we'd just get straight into the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is Carroll Road, and I know it's a night game, of course. So.
Is that Batman in the background? Is that like the Batman sign? Can you see it on the hill there?
Yeah. Well, if it is a Norfolk bat,
it's a giant seagull taking a
Yeah.
shit on it.
It's probably got 6 fingers, whatever it is, but still. And
Industrial estate, that, doesn't it?
yeah, this I believe this is Carroll Road during an East Anglian derby. Not
so
usually. Talking about crowds, we'll get into that later at Sunderland, because I thought that was shocking. Shocking what happened. For the benefit of anyone, flash photography, I don't know why you'd want to have a photo of that, but that is what Norwich sent out on the night, and that is what Leeds United sent out on. Ironic that he is on the photo, of course.
I thought that myself.
Just like, yeah, I was like, oh God, don't put Nonto on any of these.
Yeah.
But let me just look forward, just in
Stick Melier on there.
Oh yeah, funny you say that. Go back to that. Oh my God, yeah. Basically, if you're
just don't put any players up. Just
stop putting players on the team sheet thing. Team sheet. It's not a team sheet. What is it? Starting lineup list or whatever you want to call it. Stockholm is 1 hour ahead of London. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Director John, of course, the world famous Director John.
Well travelled.
Yeah, he is. He's been to a lot of places. But they legend has it, Ben, is that they actually bid for the rights to host John over the summer.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but
like the Olympics, and so they've got a committee. And
yeah.
Maybe we should get the UK to have a bid.
Yeah, they should make John an offer, but obviously
I'll
John's not cheap.
I'll send that twat Starmer a request. We want to host John.
Gets the fee. John, it goes into the post. Obviously, that always seems to.
Have you not got your bonus? Did you not read that on your wage slip? Pay him too much. I'm telling you, he's getting entitled.
How dare he ask for a fee that he knows he's not going to receive? Like, don't even. Oh, what's the word? Don't even.
If you wanted to make money out of YouTube, John, you picked the wrong bozos.
No. He's in for a cut if we ever do make a penny on this. This is how Norwich decided to line up against us. Again, thank you to Ben for sending this in on the Tuesday.
I remembered to send the away one, you see.
Yeah, I was impressed.
After rewatching you whispering and putting up the other one.
I did say that, assuming you was actually able to hear it. But
I heard you whispering. Right, I thought, what's he whispering about?
So, and this is how ours looks really nice on this, to be fair. I did one for last night and used Foot Mob, and it's basically this, but with photos. Yeah, but anyway, we have got. So, did you have any issues with this on Tuesday? Like, if you can remember back to like how you felt when you saw this?
No. I was expecting.
Sorry, Ben.
What I was sort of expecting the switch that he made for Sunderland with Peru in the Norwich game, but it came a game later anyway. So
found out Joel Peru has actually scored 4 shots on target in a row. Because when we bring him on, he usually has 1 shot, and lately he's been scoring it. So can't really ask for much more than that. Obviously, the game kicks off. I don't think we started too brightly, in my opinion.
No.
I've seen other people talk about it, and they seem to have the opposite view of me. Like, we started the brightest, but then Norwich scored. Whereas I just felt like when Norwich did score, obviously a penalty, which, in my opinion, should have been saved. Had a certain goalkeeper,
basically,
yeah. But if he'd have put his foot out as soon as the player ran at the ball, he would have saved it. I could be wrong, but the fact is, he waits until the ball is already coming at him, and then sticks his foot out. But
whenever I've played in goal, right, and I've had a penalty taken against me, I've played in goal a few times actually, and then obviously you're messing around. I've always been a reactionary goalkeeper, like wait for him to kick the ball and then go that. But professional goalkeepers tend to guess the way and pick a way to dive, don't they? I'm not like that. I'd just rather see, like, wait for the shot. Obviously, if it's hard and powerful, you ain't getting it. But it seemed to work for me. And if he'd have just waited instead of diving over it, I mean, what did he do? What was that?
Yeah,
we'll get to him.
I wasn't enamoured with it. Don't get me wrong, he's not my biggest enemy. Spoiler, I thought his performance against Sunderland was fine, apart from the last second of the game. It was actually weird because I've spent years saying, why don't he catch the ball? Why don't he catch the ball? And the one time he actually tries to catch the ball.
He caught the ball, but
he did,
the whistle had gone. The whistle had gone just before he caught it. So I think that he heard the whistle and there was no pressure, so he caught the ball. Look, we'll get to him.
Yeah. Obviously, I personally, we were going 1-0 down at Norwich, right? I actually thought I genuinely feared because I had this belief. This week has kind of eased that slightly, but I felt like we were a team where if we don't score the first goal in the game, we don't win the game. Which again is technically true, but in the fact of we don't score.
Our edge didn't drop, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas you thought, yeah, I'm getting you. Yeah.
I think I'm kind of basing this on many eras, like the Bielsa era, because it felt that way even under the great Marcelo Bielsa, who can't do no wrong. If we didn't score first in a game under Bielsa, we didn't win that game either. In the Premier League, in the Championship, very few games did we actually come from behind to win a game under Marcelo Bielsa, because it was the same old story as what it is now. The other team goes ahead, they can all put behind the ball.
Villa. 2-0 down at Villa.
That was the one time. That was really good, actually, to be fair.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
I love that. I remember that. It was like December 23rd, I think.
Look where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, we really benefited from it. But, yeah, ultimately, more than anything, I'm just sitting here, I'm thinking, I was not confident that we had it in us to break down the low blocks, because evidence suggests that teams know how to defend it against us, because we're going to try and walk the ball into the goal or put the ball in row Z.
Yeah.
Enter this man who basically was like, no, I'm going to take a pass from Wilfried Gnonto and I'm just going to fucking crack it in the goal, pardon my language. I thought it was a lovely goal, personally. Call it how you want, but
yeah, I enjoyed
when
it.
he scored, I felt like there was a 20-minute period. Sorry, no, be more fair, about 15-minute period where we could have won the game.
Yeah,
we had them on the ropes.
Was well with us, yeah.
Yeah, we had the momentum. We had them on the ropes, and then we made the changes.
Yeah, the killer subs.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and slag off Joel Peru because he's had a good season, but I feel like when you bring on Peru and Patrick Bamford, you're essentially saying we're not actually putting the running in up front, and we're settling for the point. Which, again, before the game, I'll tell you is a good point. In the context of the game, it's a good point. Like, the Sunderland game doesn't change. I think a draw at Norwich is a good point in this. Norwich won 4-0 today, I believe.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So it's quite. They're going to win a lot of games at home, and I think it's going to show that not many teams are going to pick up points at Norwich. Weren't the last team to win at Norwich us?
Yeah. Look, it's the same with both games. The fact the accepting factor is they're both away games this week, so the point at a difficult away game isn't bad in hindsight. But looking at the games, they were both there, and we should be 4 points better off.
Absolutely,
at top of the league.
I mean, obviously not to get into that game right now, but it feels like 2-2 should be a good result. But because of the context of how that happened, it feels like we lost the match.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't. And if you'd have told me after 10 minutes of that game that we're going to get a point, I'd go fine, because they were killing us for a period.
Yeah, they were.
In that, until they scored, they were murdering us, quite frankly. They were going round us like we weren't even there. But then I suppose that's the positive I'm taking from it. We actually fought our way back into the contest, which, like last year, we didn't at Sunderland. They scored and then sat on the lead and won.
And I thought that was going to happen again.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Did that twice this week, actually, to be fair. In Norwich 2. Spoiler, it finished 1-1.
Spoiler.
Are they trying to have a dance with each other on the corner? I don't know. But anyway, let's bring up stats made by director John. I think that's very reflective of how it went, because when we were on top, we were really on top of the game. Probably not as long as Norwich were at the play, but I still think we should potentially hurt a lot of teams. We've played some difficult games so far. Like, if you include the next game with Sheffield United, we would have played, I think, 4 or 5 of the top 6.
That's the one. That's the one saving grace I'm taking out of Sheffield United up there at the minute, is they've not really played it. I know they played Luton today, but they ain't the team that went up.
Nah.
But other than that, they've not really played anyone.
For Luton, it would be a good season. I don't want to speak for Luton fans, but I would imagine it would be a good season if they don't get double relegations.
Yeah.
Because they've took their Premier League money and they're investing it into the club. Hey, Sam, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. But yeah, I think Luton are going to take the Premier League money, go, yep, we're good with this. That's going to pay for our stadium, like to actually take our team forward more than short-term players and stuff like that. And yeah, but we've got to play them twice, and we need to beat them twice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it'd be easy, but we need to beat them twice. Excuse me. So generally, Norwich. What do you make of the Norwich result? Not even really factoring in the Sunderland. Like, what was you feeling on Tuesday night?
I felt that it was a missed opportunity, especially with the way the game ended. You know, I just thought 20 minutes of drabness, and they looked like the more likely team to score in the end. But yeah, I just thought it was a missed opportunity. But I take the point.
The end of the game was awful. Like,
yeah.
When Joe Gelhardt got brought on, I was like, notice how no one calls him Joffrey anymore. Just like,
I really feel for the guy. I don't really feel for footballers usually, but is that he's kept him at the club to do that? Do you know, it's just not right.
He was meant to be the next Wayne Rooney when we bought him, and then you kind of got to play your next Wayne Rooney. But buying him when you've just been promoted, and you know you're not really going to give him the game time to flourish, is a bit short-sighted. I mean, I get why he moved, because of course you're going to move to a newly promoted team when you've just been relegated to League One. Of course you're going to. And I saw another footballer, I can't remember who it was, but said, like, when you get bought by a Premier League team, if it doesn't work out, you don't fall any lower than the team you moved from, kind of thing. Like, the fall is from a lot greater height, so you're never going to get sold to like a League 2 team if it don't work out in the Premier League. Yeah. There'll be a Championship team that actually goes, yeah, we'll catch up.
Jack Clark.
Yeah. Carroll Road is probably one of the harder away games, and you got a point. All the points add up at the end of the season. Unlucky not to get 3 points at Sunderland. Well, I appreciate it, Sam, but let's have a look at that Sunderland game. Because for the benefit of anyone that doesn't know what happened, you only have to have an electronic device and the internet to know what happened. Because it's everywhere. Biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion. Even without the what happened. But yeah, and as I know Ben likes it, this is the Stadium of Light at night.
Looks
I
like
don't really want to give them credit. So what's that?
Looks like it's on fire.
Yeah. That's what happened when they bought Will Grigg and he scored no goals for them. That's what it looks like. Oh, sorry, just to confirm, this is actually not during the game. This is not a live photo of the 85th minute. That was how Sunderland lined up. What do you make of Joe Bellingham? I
think a couple of things, right? The fact that he's got Job on his shirt makes him think that he wants to differentiate himself from his brother. Well, you don't need to write Job on your shirt to do that. Look, he had a good game, but I think Sunderland fans think he's Jude Bellingham and he's not.
I think they're picturing the money they think they'll get for him because he's a Bellingham.
Look, he's a good little player and he had a good game last night, but he's not his brother. He's nowhere near his brother.
I had Meslier as my starting goalkeeper for Inter Milan in my FM23 save. He was ace in FM23. Yeah, Sam was telling me that earlier. He's got good potential, especially. Well, I assume Football Manager hasn't shipped out their new stats. I don't know if they'll change them. But
he's in the right place, and he's getting regular game time. So, and next season's probably ready for a step up or to try it at least.
I personally think he's average. I think he plays well against Leeds for some reason. Again, but am I really telling anything too conspiratorial there by saying certain players know they're going to up their game against Leeds United?
They're in the shop window, aren't they?
Yeah, because you're probably on TV, things like this. But I think he's destined to be one of these players. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know their actual relationship. Like, are they close brothers or whatever? I don't know. But like, for example, there was a time when you were not able to buy Eden Hazard without buying his brother.
Yeah, or Rodney Wallace without Ray.
Yeah, and the De Boer brothers, for example. Like, there's always one that is not very good. Or not as good. Like, there's an obvious talent differential.
Yeah, Torre brothers.
Yeah, but you have to you have to allocate part of the track. I guess I could be wrong, but I imagine the better brother of whatever twin pairing or whatever will sacrifice some of their wages so their brother gets a bit of money.
Are they twins?
I don't think so. No, I think one's like. I think one's a lot. Jude's older. I know Jude is older, but that we are probably one of the few clubs that both Bellinghams have scored against. Because there's not going to be many that have played against both of them.
No.
And obviously he scored against us in the game where we beat them 5-4. Look it up on the YouTube or whatever, and for people that don't know about it, it was a wild. It's exactly the sort of game you think about when you think of Marcelo Bielsa football. It was like 2-2 going into like the 80th minute, and then there was like 5 goals. It's a great contest, mainly because we won it, but still. Anyway, so the irony of this man being on the sheet. He's pulling the face like, I'm going to ruin your weekend. But still. I don't know if I found the right ones, but this was the on Fob Mob or Foot Mob. What's Fob Mob?
We've got every picture.
Hello, Robbie. How you doing? I think we just need to focus on how well the team played, gutted with a mistake, but see it for what it is. An unusual mistake. We have to see the bigger picture. We will come up. Again, after all this, we are 3 points off of the top team. That we were much further off the pace this time last year, I imagine.
In our next game, we can reel them straight back in there.
Yeah. Is it a disaster if... I'll ask this directly. Ben, is it a disaster if Sheffield United win at Elland Road in 2 weeks?
Not a disaster, but it sends a message, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's not ideal.
And if you don't wake up from it, then yeah.
When I heard the commentator saying Rothwell, I kept thinking it was Rodwell for Sunderland. What a shit show that was. Weren't he earning 70 grand in the Championship? Which I know that's like Patrick Bamford allegedly earning that.
It was a few years back, wasn't it? So
yeah, basically you weren't getting players in the Championship on 70 grand a week from a relegated side, Premier League side. But I could be wrong, but I believe he didn't have a relegation wage clause. I could be wrong.
He was still on good money when they went down again, though, wasn't he? He was with them in League One.
Yeah. Yeah, they kept trying to get him to, and I do sympathise with his situation because they kept trying to get him to like cancel his contract. He's like, no one else is going to pay me this, and I'm legally entitled to it. You chose to give me it.
Exactly.
Like I think the way, but see, like I'm not saying Robbie's wrong here because it's kind of true, but obviously Sunderland and that documentary on Netflix definitely perpetuated the narrative that Jack Rodwell is basically holding up Sunderland for money, kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, no, you agreed to give it to him.
Yeah, they didn't paint him in a great picture, did they?
No, he was made that to be like, you're killing the club.
Yeah,
you're doing this to us and sort of thing. It's like, no, you gave him the contract. You shouldn't have given it. You should have someone. And I know I'm very rich as a Leeds fan for saying this, but you should have someone that goes, oh, if X, Y, and Z happens, we're liable for X, Y, and Z. But maybe I'm just being silly, like expecting Sunderland to have a handle on their finances. I mean, as a Leeds fan, who am I to say that? But well, we are the reason a lot of these rules are in place to stop this kind of crap happening. Thank you, Robbie. I weren't saying you were saying anything untoward, but again, the fact is Sunderland would have you believe that he was the reason they were in League One because he was taking their money. That they could have been used. They'd have only wasted it elsewhere. Clubs love giving out money.
Oh.
Especially our club. Got to have it in the first place, I suppose. So obviously it's the real twins.
Yeah.
Director John's back.
The Benedict.
At first I thought it was going to say, here's the real quiz. But so they lined up. That didn't take long to become a 5, to be fair, at the back. That's why I respected Coventry. Just straight away went to like Google and all that and went, yeah, just say we're playing a 5-man defence. Let's not fuck around with this like wing back shit. And this was our lineup. Like you said earlier, the decision Perot in, Joseph on the bench. I think it was shrewd.
I didn't really get time to have thoughts on this because I was out last night, so I watched the recording of it. But obviously it was hard to escape what had happened before I got home. So
Sam Greenwood thinks the weight and expectation with that contract hurt Rodwell's development together with his injuries. I think that's very fair. That's very fair. It's a cautionary tale for Championship clubs, I suppose. Well, because they were obviously expected. Netflix only really rolled up there because they expected to cover a Championship side that won every week.
Mm.
But then they got the next best thing. They got a Championship side that lost every week. If they'd have turned up and Sunderland had finished 13th, they'd have been furious because they had shit documentary then. Because there's no drama to be gained from 13th. Yeah. But because they actually did the opposite of like, I don't think they finished bottom, but still, sorry, it's not really a Sunderland thing, but you know what I mean. It's a good documentary though, to be fair to it. Not as good as the one that we have on Amazon, but I might be a bit biased.
You think?
Yeah, just a little bit, Ben. Just a little bit. Like documentary where Sunderland get relegated, or the one where Leeds United nearly get promoted, and then season 2 where they do get promoted. I wonder what I'm going to think about.
Did they get a season 2?
I think they've got a season 3. Like Netflix went back a few years later. I could be wrong, but I'm sure they did a 3rd season. They definitely did 2 because I watched them.
Yeah.
Ironically, I finished watching it the night before we played Liverpool, when the first game in the Premier League. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember we were saying it backstage on here, but you were right. I thought Tanaka and Rothwell were very good.
Yeah.
Considering they've never played together, I don't think there was anything that would have suggested. Well, obviously they ended up being the pair on the pitch against Norwich, but like as a starting pair. If you told me they'd never played together in their lives, I'd be like, no, I'm not sure about that.
They're both intelligent. You can see it. They both can pass the ball. They're both. Yeah. Look, I'm not overly worried with having these two together. So that's not the that's not the area I'd address on the pitch right now. So obviously we need cover for it, but that's to see what's done behind the scenes. Messi's on a free, by the way.
I think FIFA are going to have a word with Messi. Like, if you want your team, if you want Inter Miami to be in the World Club Championship next year, you need to fucking play in it.
I think Marcelo should give him a ring and say, "Go out Leeds out for me," because he loves him.
He does.
On normal wages, to sacrifice it, you know, and then
go play for him for a tenner a match. Go on.
Yeah.
Not even a tenner a week. Like, I'm being generous to him. Like, I'm offering him the chance to make 20 quid a week. But still. I mean, not next week. There's no games, but... So, what's that, man?
Paperboy money.
Yeah. I mean, he's as tall as most paper boys, so... You know, Messi will only come if all the championship clubs stop defending when he gets the ball. I agree with... I know that sounds absurd, but I saw him score a goal in the MLS where it literally felt like all the players were falling over themselves to not have to tackle him. It was like don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure he could out-dribble them even if they were trying to tackle him. But at least give the appearance that you're trying to stop him.
Was it like your mate giving you a goal back on FIFA?
Yeah. I don't even care about the MLS, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting infuriated watching this goal. I'm like, I would at least try to stop him. But it felt like they were like, no, if you hurt him, you'll never play football again, kind of thing. Could be wrong. But I can't wait for the return of Daniel James, because we'll get Aronson out of the team, Nonto in the middle, and the goals will start flowing, I suspect. I hope. And people go, "Oh, you got anything against Aronson because he's American?" Yes, partly.
Yes. Yes. Look,
I mean,
he's been a lot better than I thought he would be. And look, his desire and his hunger's there. You can see that. Sometimes it's stupid. Like last night, and he just kicked out to get the ball, and he nearly put them through. But look, he's been a bit more positive than I expected from him. So I'll give him a break for now. But yeah,
I've like.
It's when he does an interview and I've got to listen to an American talk about football.
I've got to
Sorry,
cuss
John.
him. I cuss him out, obviously, for partly the joking of it and stuff like that. But I really do hold him accountable for why what happened last night happened. Because had he let the ball run across his body and that ball goes to Willie Nonto, it's 3-1. And Melier doesn't happen. We would have won the game. It would have been put to bed.
I thought the same about Bogle if he hadn't made the stupid challenge. But we'll get to him as well.
I do think he's been a lot better. He feels a lot more solid than his initial games for Leeds. I do feel.
I feel that he was the one last night, right? And everyone says, yeah, Leeds played well, but I thought Sunderland deserved the point. Not maybe the way that they got the point, but they deserved the point. They weren't too much of a threat on goal, but they were positive, and look. We were in our own half most of the second half. And I just feel that every time we got to the final ball or the final third, we were just wasteful. Just too easy to lose the ball, and then it was back at us again. And I felt Bogle was the worst one for giving the ball away.
I felt like we a lot of that was by our design, though. It was like, we don't believe you can break us down. I think that's a very arrogant, it's a very dangerous tightrope to walk, to be fair.
But another goal puts you top of the league, so...
Daniel Farke, I imagine, not long to speak for him, I imagine he's sitting there thinking, we've got another 40 games to make sure we're actually top of the league. Or 36 games, or whatever it is. But
he had that mentality last year, didn't he? And we ran out of games.
Yeah. Ben obviously did send me some images, so I'll pepper them throughout. We have got a new segment called Ben's Mascot Watch, which I'm pretty sure I shouldn't call it that, because that sounds like a bit like the what do we call it? The Fed should be watching or something. But so probably I'll tinker with a name for that. But basically, Ben, tell us about Sunderland mascot.
Did you see them all? They were all like, he'd hit the Leeds mascots. There was one Leeds mascot and 11 Sunderland, well, 10 Sunderland mascots and this kid.
I thought I was looking at 11. I thought I was looking at 11 Leeds mascots after they were eaten by the Sunderland mascot.
God.
But no, that was a Ben joke he made to me earlier. So not that I'm trying to put you in the shit. I'm like just giving you credit for your humour.
Definitely ate the Leeds mascots.
Don't know who it was, but we should have won the first header when the free kick came in. There's a lot of things we should have done, and don't worry, we'll get into what should have happened in that situation, as in everything except what did happen.
Yeah.
If anything between that ball being crossed in and hitting the back of the net was done remotely differently, none of that happens. If Junior Firpo doesn't jump up for the ball, I mean, it's massive criticised for it, but if he doesn't jump up for the ball, he doesn't have an own goal.
I'm not, right? That's the main reason Melier is getting roasted, is because poor old Junior has to take the cop for that.
Yeah. It broke my heart when I saw the realisation dawned on me that Firpo's going to receive an own goal to his name. I was a broken man.
I think he was. That's why he stormed off.
Usually I would not. I'd be like, no, you go and support your team. But I think it's the only time I've ever actually been like, no, I get why he has stormed off, because he's furious at everything. Because he was denied the winning goal. Spoiler: Junior Firpo scores in the game. Anyway, so the game kicks off, and I think from minute 1 to minute 9, it's all Sunderland.
Yeah, definitely. They were worthy of the goal when they went 1-up.
Oh, it would be delusional of me to say that we were in the contest in the first 9 minutes. Not
first
true.
2 minutes we were in it, but then they took control of the ball, and they just
their movement, they were too fast. Everything, they just had an answer. Everything we tried to throw at them,
you got
the feeling it was going to be a long
Friday night, didn't you? It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello DWTT. Hello Gary. Thank you for joining us. on our Saturday night We All Love Leeds, special Saturday night We All Love Leeds.
Hi, Gary.
That's the handiwork of Director John.
I hope you're enjoying London, Gary.
He has tried, I hope you won't mind me saying, he has been to Nando's.
Poor guy. Oh.
Robbie says, Firpo is utterly blameless for me. Mate, this is a Firpo fan club. If I saw Firpo shoot a man between the eyes, I'd look the policeman in the eye and say I was stuck in traffic and never saw it.
I'd say it was me, officer. It was me.
That's a fair point. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, his goal was fantastic. But then from the moment they scored, it became all Leeds. Whether Pitt,
yeah, Walker
was very tanned in that.
It did the opposite of what you feared, and it did wake us up.
You know what actually did it, Ben, was the fact that instead of just doing the short passes, the tiki-taka, and then trying to like walk into the net, Willie Nonto, who was great last night, clearly, just thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and whip it into the box. Straight on Piro's head.
Lovely goal. Reminded me of Chapman back in the day. Strachan crossing it in, bam. The way he bent his neck a bit and just...
Yeah. I perceived that Sunderland just expected another 70 minutes of us knocking the ball around and trying to pass it into the box. And it was like, no, just one cross. They weren't prepared for it because they obviously weren't set up for it.
And we should do it more. We should.
I think
when you play with inverted wingers, it's not as simple to do. So you're relying on Bogle to do it from that side, and it's not his biggest.
It's not that bad, is it? I think with this, I get that our tactic is ultimately short passes, work it around the other teams, but you still need to give the impression that at any minute you can spring a surprise, as in we're actually just going to launch this ball into the box.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we should do 90 minutes of dice ball. I'm not saying that at all. But you should absolutely catch out a team that's not set up to expect you to do a cross.
So do you stick with Pirot or do you go back?
I am actually quite liking the weaponry of starting with Joseph and then bringing on Pirot. Do not bring on Pirot and Bamford. Them as a pairing are a recipe for disaster. You need to have a runner on there with Pirot.
Maybe put Bamford in goal. just tell him he's shooting that way and he's just going to kick it wide or kick it over. Or a lot of corners conceded, but...
So obviously at half time, I mean, admittedly, there was part of me thought we're definitely not losing this because we're wearing the yellow kit. That's not true. It's not true. I was terrified at 1-0 done. I thought it was just going to be one of these nights again. One of these nights we've had too many of.
No,
anyway,
we've got another one coming up in a week or two.
Then we come on in the second half, and basically we went for it. In my opinion, just went. You know what? We don't want a point. I kind of wish we had. I actually think in long run it might have actually benefited us to actually not have what happened happen, but then just settle for the point. But anyway, it don't really work like that. It's a mental thing for me to have said.
I think the right thing to do there was do what we did and go for it, but it's like then we stopped going for it.
Junior Firpo just charges into the box like a fucking general. And he was like
the centre forward that he is.
He's the best attacking left back I've ever seen, and I include Roberto Carlos, I include Paolo Maldini, and someone's gonna say he's not an attacking left back. Like everyone talks about him though.
What about Fabio?
I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the underwear model because I know you're not talking about the Manchester United one. But still, hey, I'm not judging, mate. But something I genuinely thought his goal was genuinely good. And I was sitting there thinking the whole time, like, is are we coming onto this show knowing Junior Firpo scored a winning goal?
I can see, like, in the Caribbean states and countries, Junior Firpo modelling underwear on a billboard in the middle of a city centre.
They'd probably need to put 2 billboards side to side. I'm just a joke, guys. Just a joke. That's all I'm going to say. 10 minutes left in the game, roughly. Sunderland decided, we're losing at home. Let's start leaving.
No, do you know what I noticed, right? The tannoy came on. And it was like, 41,000, whatever it was. And it's like, that's all they turned up for, the crowd announcement. And then they all fucked off home.
I thought it was mental.
We're just going to make the biggest crowd of the season because we know you can't. So that's all it was. It was like the League One bullshit where they had to have that record as well.
Oh my God! Do you know we genuinely formed an entire episode of their documentary was based on us because we had the League One attendance record. Sunderland basically had to discount all their tickets. This is genuinely true, Sam, if you're still there. They had to discount all their tickets on Boxing Day, get their fans to spend their Christmas money on tickets to the Boxing Day game. Admittedly, it's well known that the Boxing Day game in football is obviously one of the most well attended because people have not been able to leave their house for a day, 2 days, so they're dying to get out, go to the football. Great idea. Sunderland obviously based the whole episode on we got to break Leeds United's record. And then their chairman's assistant, I don't know if you had seen it, but you know the wide boy bloke who they all hate? I can't remember his name. It's like Bowman, Charlie Bowman. I don't know what it is. But he's basically like, I know football, me. I've run businesses. He probably don't talk like that at all. He's actually far posher. But I totally just made that up. But
it holds 49, it says here, that place. So in retrospect, that's a shit crowd. I
think they ended up getting 46 in League One, which we which obviously we can't compete with, but still. Hello, Scooby. How you doing? Good to see you, mate. And then unfortunately, I know the circle is for the crowd leaving, but
this is the start.
They are going to launch the ball into the box, and
not into the box. Into the middle of the pitch.
Don't get that far. Yeah,
they're going to launch it into the middle of the pitch, and it's not really a spoiler alert, is it?
Yeah, you know what happened, but I can sum it up in three photographs. Look lively, look sharp, look like a twat. I can describe this, Ben, as it happened live. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking that ball. It turned out Firpo.
It went in slow mo, didn't it? It really did.
But in that slow mo, I'm sat there thinking he's going to catch the ball. He's then going to boot the ball down the field. The rest go blow the whistle. I'm thinking in my head, as that ball is heading towards him, I'm thinking this is the game. We've won the game because he's going to catch the ball and boot it. And then that happened.
Both head injuries, right, I've counted, were about 90 seconds. Maybe a little tiny bit longer for the second one. It wasn't 2.5 minutes like the commentator said. It was nowhere near it. But for me, there was 4-5 minutes tops. Not 6, 7, 8.
I agree that we had done a masterful job of killing time in the added time because of the substitutions. So you're not getting. They're not blowing that whistle at. Let me describe it better. You're not getting a whistle at 96 because we made 2 substitutions. Just the way they ref it, because they wouldn't get it either. But they actually did make substitutions. Well, they ate into their own extra time. Scooby, not bad, gents. Aching like fuck being acupuncture. I've never had that done. I imagine it's just like having needles stuck in you. I mean, that's not what it is, obviously, but can you get photos of Cheech's chest and volley? Who's Cheech? Does he mean Cheech and Chong? The Stoner lads? It's be embarrassing, I don't know who he means. It's probably going to be really simple. I can understand. Yeah, I can understand Ilian needing a minute or two of getting Pascal's knee in the head, but Firpo, I actually thought he got an arse to the face, because I know they tried to say hips, because they're not going to say arse, are they? And I'm sitting there thinking, just say he got an arse to the face. But I'm pretty sure he would not have stayed down for as long as he did had we been losing the match.
That's not the problem. Look, bollocks to that. The problem is the fucking clowning goal. Should we get to the clown?
Oh, we can get to the clown. And obviously, I mean, ultimately, even Leeds United did not want to acknowledge that it was a Junior Firpo own goal. Because why would you? It's not his fault. What did you make of the Sunderland celebration, right? Because I don't want to get all celebrations.
I didn't really notice, mate, to be honest.
Because they were all like jumping in the crowd and shit. And I was like, yeah, be excited, but you didn't really earn this. It's not like, I get they were pushing for an equaliser, but they didn't score it.
It just means that much to get something against Leeds. It really does. I don't know what this thing about us is, but
yeah, I think football would be a lot easier if we were less hated, or less. The motivation to play us is weird. Considering we are not a top side by any stretch, like it's not like you're turning up at the Etihad playing Haaland and you know you got to play out of your skins or you're going to get murdered. Because you ain't necessarily going to get murdered at Ellen Road, regardless. But anyway, but I do have live footage of Ilian Mellier's gloves from a signing he did a couple of years ago. Just
I don't mind him, but did he even get his gloves on it?
Nah, he's not that lucky. He's not that lucky. But right now, Ilian Mellier is at home crying like a little girl. I don't think little girl.
I don't think he is. I think he's laughing on the phone to his former coach. The prick.
I saw this and I saw this one and I just thought, yeah, me trying to enjoy my life. Leeds United. It's about walloping with the chair. Because, you know, that's what being a Leeds United. But you also sent me this one of Don Goodman, which we'll get to. Because, spoiler, I've not seen any Andy Hinchcliffe this week. So it's entirely all Don Goodman in dipshits. But
that's not a foul, he said.
Is that what led up to the equaliser? Or not the equaliser?
No, that's what led up to our goal.
Yeah.
That was the foul in the corner, and then we went and scored from there, didn't we?
Yeah, because he started saying about how it was a controversial moment at the other end of the pitch, and I'm like, what? Where's the controversy? But no, you said this as well.
That dude did clip the ball, but he clean followed through and took Rodon out. Stopped the momentum of the move. It was a foul.
Yeah. You did send this. Basically, it breaks my heart to see that Junior Firpo got a goal and he's been credited with the own goal, because I'm sure that affects his rating.
That dropped his rating.
Yeah, his actual rating is lower than Mellier because he got the own goal. Mellier is a 6.7 and he's a 6.3. I think there's a conspiracy.
The fuck did Mellier get a 6.7 there? Ahead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ahead of 5 other players.
He did play the ball first on first watch. I thought foul on replay. No foul, plays ball first. Great tackle. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised it wasn't pulled back, considering we were the away team. It's the sort of thing that a home team gets the decision. But still. And you did also send me, in fairness to you, Ben, you've got an idea on replacing Meslier.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain to the audience your rationale for replacing
Have you ever
Meslier
kicked
with
ball
a
into a
plastic
carrier
bag?
bag?
Have you
It
ever
does
kicked
more
a
than
ball into...
Meslier ever will. And the
It
20
will catch
pence,
the bag, the ball.
20 pence in your local shop. And that's the answer.
Okay. Value for money, because you could get one goalkeeper for 5 million or another for 20 pence in your local Tesco. But 7.5 for Brendan. Brendan Ramazani were terrible, but did look a bit jaded. Wasn't their best game. I like the Ramazani Nonto link up they have. I dare I say they've got like a trio where it's like the 3 Degrees and Junior Firpo, or Diana Ross playing the role of Junior Firpo, and Nonto and Ramazani. Brendan, I thought he was a bit of a headless chicken yesterday. He has had some good performances, to be fair to him. Like some nice goals at Sheffield Wednesday and all that. But I felt it was a lot of, if I'm running, people won't notice I'm not actually doing anything when I get the ball. I could be wrong, but as it feels like. These are the actual stats of the game. I mean, without the context of knowing what happened in the last 10 seconds, you'd think, yeah, that looks like a draw is a fair reflection of the game, right?
I am not buying. We had 62% possession.
Notice that John's edited in the goalkeeper.
Does it say 52? We didn't have more possession.
No, it's 52. 52.
We did not have more possession. Not a chance.
Oh, no, I can imagine we shaded it, because when we did get the ball off them, it would be like we'd make a show of like giving it back to the goalkeeper and things like that. Yeah, because then eventually it would end up back in their half, and then eventually they'd work it back to us. But anytime we got the ball back, it would end up back at the goalkeeper. So it's totally plausible that we would have just edged possession, because they were much more direct with it.
I don't know. Maybe.
But yeah.
Like I said, I thought, look, we played well, we did. But I thought you can't argue that they deserved a point from their efforts, in my opinion.
That's fair. I personally felt we had done enough to...
Yeah, we had done enough because of the way we lost the game, clearly. But if they'd have scored, on 78 minutes and it finished 1-1, then it's a good point. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's fair. So, I don't feel so strongly that we definitely should have won. I know we definitely should have won because we were 5 seconds away from winning.
Yeah.
But that's the only real reason, is because of how long we had held them at. The other thing I would say, there's 2 schools of thought here. I've gone and found the opinion of 2 well-respected football pundits. Calling one of them pundit is definitely a stretch. Joey Barton decided to start talking about Leeds United. 30 seconds after full-time whistle, with the opposition gaffer. If I were a Leeds fan, my head would be on Mars. Joe Barton went, can't imagine doing that after dropping a clanger live on telly. Surely Leeds United fans are fuming when they see this nonsense. I have a thought on this I don't think a lot of Leeds United fans will like. But as I said to Lolo on the stoop last night, Lolo and David, I think we've all been in a situation where we are highly embarrassed or want the ground to open up, and all you can do is laugh because you think it somewhat like makes it go away. It doesn't, and it never does. But
he had that moment. He'd had that moment on the pitch about a minute afterwards. That for me is not that moment. That's how are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. Good to catch up. I see what you're saying, but he had that moment where all he could do was laugh, and it wasn't long after, after he'd stopped looking at the imaginary divot on the pitch. Because the more I watch it, the more that ball did not changed trajectory. It did slightly when it hit Firpo, but not after it hit the ground.
I've seen it from a head-on angle, and it's sort of like it spins around him. It hits the floor, and it goes off to his side. But the actual angle the main angle on TV makes it look like he goes through his legs, which it obviously doesn't.
Goes to the
But
side. I thought he overcooked the way he went left.
No. I think it's fair. I'm not saying it's great goalkeeping. It's obviously not. But I think he was set up. It was set up to collect that ball in a way where he was obviously going to catch it and then hit the floor, as they've all been trained to do. But in this occasion, the 999 million out of 100 million times, he is going to catch that ball. It's just going to fall into his arms, and the game is done. On this occasion, though, it for some reason, the bounce takes it around him.
I don't quite agree with your odds. I reckon 7 out of 10 he catches the ball.
Do you know what he should have done? All right. If he'd have done what he does in other football matches, if he just punched the ball, even if he punched it out for a throw-in, we win the game.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much time. Don't get me wrong, if he did that, we'd all want to kill him.
Or kicked it out, yeah, just anything.
Just run out and launch it into the stands or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're risking him totally whiffing the ball, and it still ended up a goal. But
look, let's put this miss to bed, this mishap to bed. But what does he offer you for a goalkeeper? For me, he can't catch the ball, he can't pass the ball, he can't save penalties. His wrists are made of glass.
It's hard to answer.
He can't command his box.
I actually thought, other than that, his performance yesterday was quite good. Other than that,
but he had nothing else to do.
I thought he had good command of the box. Like he was claiming the ball on corners.
It was very surprising. He made the save, which was fair enough, and it was a good save. But unfortunately, it went straight to their player. But I never understand, like, when managers say, "Oh, you got to work hard in training and to break into the squad." And I'm thinking, well, what the fuck does Caldaro have to do? What does Caldaro have to do? I mean, why did you buy this guy? For me, he's a better goalkeeper all round. I think
I could be wrong.
In his appearances for Leeds, it's just match rust. He needs a few consistent runs of games, and it's about time that you give him that opportunity.
I could be wrong, Ben. I imagine they bought Cardalo because they assumed that Meslier was gone or going. But then no one bid for him. Because strangely, Ben, there's not really a massive market for goalkeepers that have conceded 200 goals in 3 Premier League seasons.
No.
10, I could be wrong there, but I don't think I am. I believe he was bought presumably to be the number 1 keeper. But he didn't leave. And you can't drop him. Well, you can. But you'd have had a lot of cop if it turned out that Cardalo is awful, and then you've got Meslier sat on the side, who's got 11 Premier League clean sheets or whatever.
When Meslier has blunders, he goes on bad runs. He's not great anyway, but I think he's a confidence player, and
he has these moments there where, like, like the save against Leicester, and like in injury time, like he is
even
capable.
Norwich,
don't expect
the last minute save. Do you know?
Yeah.
Was it Norwich or game before?
No, you're right. Yeah. He's capable of great stuff. I don't think he's necessarily as bad as Ben is saying, but I can understand why Ben is saying it.
No, but does he not? My point is there when I say this is how many heart attack moments does he give you?
Oh, loads. But that's Leeds. That's being a Leeds fan in general. If it weren't him, it'd be someone else that played for Leeds.
I just want somebody that I'm a bit confident that can catch a ball and that can deal with the cross and can save a shot. Not so bothered about your distribution. That comes. Sometimes you've got to kill the ball. Everyone can pass a ball 5 yards, can't they? It's
wedgy. Yeah, I think. I don't know where I was going with that. Joey Barton said what he said, Jeff Stelling not replied, I mean, it's his opinion. Would have been nice to see some Leeds players console Melier a little bit more. Notably, Junior Firpo. Stelling must be special because I've not gone round his ass. Notably, a terrible, terrible mistake, but nobody feeling worse than the keeper. By the way, to all those saying he is smirking, laughing afterwards, he's smiling in embarrassment. What else is he meant to do? Cry? If he did cry, people would be like, why are you crying, mate? You can't win in that situation, no matter what he does.
It's got nothing to do with you, Jeff.
Ultimately, just catch the ball, and then none of this happens. We're actually sat here laughing because we won at Sunderland.
I am about to mollycoddle somebody that's on that amount of money, regardless of whether he plays well or shit. He ain't feeling bad today. I'm not sticking up for him. I'm sorry. I'm throwing him under the bus. You can have a little bit of sympathy for him, Tom, if you wish, but I'm done with this guy.
It's more the fact that I don't think anything positive comes from just telling him he's shit in this situation. I mean, he's obviously fucked up. He knows he's fucked up. All the Leeds fans telling him he's fucked up doesn't really help him because we still need him, presumably because you know he's going to be the goalkeeper, Ben.
When I was looking for a certain photograph today for a certain segment, the amount of photos of Melier with the hands of, because he's just fucked up or he's just let an easy shot in it, and there was that many of them. It was mental, and it just got me thinking of how many times with this guy. I know none of them have been on this scale, but it's just I'm just sorry. He's shit. Unless he saves that first shot on target. Unless he saves that.
Yeah. I was more angry at him in the Premier League for the reason you just said. It got to a stage where it felt like if he doesn't save the first shot on target, and in the Premier League, you'll be facing a lot of shots on target. Doesn't save the first one, Leeds might as well pack up and go home. I think it relaxed a bit in the Championship, as it should. But I don't know. But I do feel like that there's no confidence in him on the first shot. If he saves the first shot, we're golden. It's a bit like, when we played Portsmouth, we were well in front, and then Portsmouth had a shot, and it was 1-1, and then it was 2-1 to Portsmouth. I mean, admittedly, the goals were not his fault overall, but the fact is...
No, but I get that, what you're saying, but a better goalkeeper saves a bigger percentage of these shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although it's not the goalkeeper's fault that the ball went in, but yeah. Like the penalty last week, it was just fucking... Yeah. A better goalkeeper saves that.
I don't mind that Bond movie, to be fair, Scooby. A lot of people don't like it, but I don't care what they think. Sorry, Ben, I was listening. I was just also wondering what Bond movie he was watching. No, what you said about Melier is fair. Probably I am giving him a bit too much credit. But I am aware of the foil that if he doesn't concede, if he doesn't save the first shot, you're fucked. And it gives me nightmares to know that I have a goalkeeper where you can find out what day you're going to have based on what happens when the opposition shoots first. But is what it is. Obviously, we usually do Twat in the Black. This week was a double game week, so we're going to have 2 Twats in Black. But we'll start off with today's referee, or not today, yesterday's referee, Tim Robinson. What did you make of his performance, Ben?
He was fine. He gave a minute too long for me, but that's down to our own players taking a piss a bit with head injuries. But he was fine. Nothing he did or in the game annoyed me. So yeah, he's not the twat this week.
To be fair to him, we picked up a booking, obviously, because don't get me wrong, I feel it was a fair decision. The player wasn't necessarily 1-on-1 because he was inside our own half. So there was Pascal Stoic had it covered. Rodon pulled him back. Don Goodman seemed to be like, I should have been sent off kind of thing, because of course he was. It's Don Goodman, but then he did a similar one to Sunderland player pulled Nonto back a couple of times, and he booked them all. So it was like, it was consistency. I don't think he was necessarily looking the same. Yeah.
He was one of the better refs, to be honest. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. It was very, when you sit here, or not you, but when people sit and go, I want consistency from the refs, he was booking Leeds players and Sunderland players for the same things.
It was the polar opposite of the other dick that we're about to get to.
Well, I'm glad you said that, and there's obviously an obvious reason why. Obviously, I went with yesterday's ref before Tuesday's ref, because who's Tuesday's ref, Ben?
Was it Steve Martin, the comedy fucking actor?
I did actually toy with like editing Steve Martin's head onto Stephen Martin's head, but I realised he's not worth the effort.
Looks like Angus Kinnear with muscles.
I mean, it's Angus Kinnear if he's gone to the gym.
Yeah. Who's too busy flexing this dick? What a cock. Shite referee.
I thought his performance, and you know, I'm very generous to people, Ben, in the football world. Like, you are much more liable to jump on a ref than I am, and I thought that Stephen Martin as a referee was fucking dog shit.
Look, I'm dark, people. I'm very dark with the visions I get of referees. We'd probably get cancelled from YouTube if I described the thoughts I get of referees, and it involves them going home with a gun in front of the kids and shit like that. Yeah, it's just that was a joke. That referee, he would look, and the penalty wasn't the penalty was a penalty, right? But then so was ours.
Yeah. No, my issue with that was, obviously, I'm not going to lie to people and sit here and say, because obviously I'm Leeds, I'm not going to sit and say Joe Rodon did not foul Sargent, because he obviously did. He didn't need to make that tackle, which was the most annoying part of it, and it was a penalty. But he's not a shit referee because he gave that penalty. He's a shit referee because he didn't give loads of other decisions that we maybe should have.
He gave the wrong bookings and then realised that he'd overbooked players, so he stopped booking them. There was no consistency. It was just a dickhead running around thinking I'm in charge.
Give me a second, because I'll find something for... Right, so I got a text message. I'm sure Ben won't mind me saying this. I got a text message from Ben at 4 minutes past 8. Its exact words were, 18 minutes in, wanker of the week is the ref. Now, personally, obviously, Ben is allowed to pick whoever he wants for wanker of the week whenever he wants. But I was sitting there thinking, 18 minutes. We've got like 70 minutes of football to go plus another match. I was like, this is quite a bold decision, Ben. But
I can't remember what he'd done on 18 minutes, but it wasn't the penalty.
No. It's penalty.
It was something else, and I just thought, wanker, absolute wanker. But he'd already done 3 or 4 things by that point, you know. And it was just like, who's this fucking idiot?
Who do you think will be the next Bond? Guys, I have refereed a game. I refereed a charity. It was a charity. Don't get me wrong, Robbie. I totally understand that refereeing is a thankless task, and no one's ever going to come up to you and say, "Well done, you did a good job." So, ironically, what's his name? Tim Robinson. Well done, you did a good job yesterday.
My point on a referee is, right, you're there to enforce the laws of the game, and for me, laws are black and white, right? There's no your interpretation of a rule, none of this bullshit, right? A law is black and white. And too many of them try and enforce their authority like they're in charge. No, you're not in charge. You're the guy there to officiate, right? They get involved with player banter. They get bored. And there's too much. It should just be you're there to referee what goes on the pitch, regardless of your thoughts and your personal agenda and all this. And there's too much of that. And for me, if you've got that in a game, you're not a good referee. You should not be refereeing at that level. Or you should be punished for your mistakes, and they're not.
What I'll say, Ben, is that I've already forgot.
There's no accountability. Even with VAR, there's no accountability for it.
Also, my thing with refereeing is that all I'm gonna say is not actually really a Leeds thing. It's like it's a thing that happened in a game with Arsenal, if I remember rightly, or Kovacic of Man City, like last year or something, was told he wasn't sent. He didn't send him off because I can't remember the name of the ref. It was the one everyone hates. I think it was Michael Oliver, who basically was like, I'm not going to send him off because I don't want to impact the game. It's like, your job's not to impact the game. Your job is to literally enforce the rules of football, regardless of how it impacts the game.
And I see what Robbie's saying there, where he disagrees. Right, in the opinion of the referee, no, it shouldn't be in the opinion, and it is in the opinion of the referee. But a foul's a foul, regardless of whether the referee thinks it's a foul. A foul's a foul.
Like I know we all have a bit of a laugh and a joke about it, like the fact that Russ Morgan, say Russ because he's a big proponent, it's like it's big conspiracy theorist for the referees, and we know and love Russ, so I'm comfortable saying this. And we have a bit of a laugh about it, but there is an element of it where the referee's job is literally just to be the arbitrator of the rules, but too many of them want to become a character, want to become the main character. A bit of main character syndrome, I think it's fair to call it.
Do you think the NFL system works where they've got touch judges, line judges, and they've got flags?
I suspect there are times where it doesn't work, but you don't really hear about it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I guess it works, otherwise they'd have changed it.
I am a massive advocate of you should have 4 linesmen.
Well, so they're not running up and down all
day.
Yeah.
We stop at the halfway line, then he's got to guess for the rest of the pitch. And the other guy at the other side's got to guess basically the same way across the pitch. You should have 4 linesmen.
I mean,
I don't see the point. I don't see the point in the 4th official. He's just there to get shit off screaming managers and then can't do anything about it. So it's pointless saying anything to him anyway, because the decision's been made on the pitch. So whatever he says through his mic to the referee ain't going to change his mind.
What I suppose what I'm meaning, Scooby, I don't know whether Ben means it, I suspect he does, is I'm not sitting there saying I want a referee to give Leeds every correct decision. And I'm not saying I'm going to get mad when a referee fucks up. Because VAR is ultimately the lesser, it's the bigger evil than just a referee gets something wrong. Because ultimately, if the referee gets something wrong in the Championship, as we say every week, play continues and you have enough time to undo it.
Going there to where he's saying about players diving and tricking referees, right? Referees don't learn. They don't learn that player that's just been slightly touched in the corner of the pitch hasn't been touched and it's just gone down. They don't learn about these bullshit being tricked. And that for me, again, if you're not learning right and you're not watching other football matches on telly and watching these players and how they do it, because we see it week in, week out, I would not give that player a foul for falling down, with his back to ball, just because the player's come in behind him and touched him. Wouldn't give you it. Tough shit. Referees don't learn, and therefore you're not good enough to referee at that level. Melier should accept that you're not good enough to goalkeep at that level. So you should say to your boss, you should be humble and say to your boss, I'm not good enough, instead of going out every week and robbing the club of a wage.
Well, all that being said, I'm just going to say it's time for Wanker of the Week.
Before you put this person's picture up, can anyone guess what it is? There's
2. To keep it fair, I suppose we should call it Wanker of the Match, because obviously it's covered 1 match each. And let's be fair, you only have to have been paying attention to Ben for about 15 seconds of this show, really, to know what the Wankers of the Week are. But when does the Arsenal talk start? Maybe come back around Christmas, sir. We might draw them in the cup.
No, that got cancelled because someone wanted to go to Nando's.
is that me because of my views? No, Robbie. You're entitled to have whatever view you want, mate.
Listen, look, football's subjective. It's opinionated. I'll never, ever... Your opinion's your opinion, but look, I'll never sway on your opinion. I've got my opinions. Whether they're the same or not, it don't matter to me.
Oh, come on, don't kick Meswins down. He was sick.
I'm also a person whose opinion can be changed. But when it comes to referees, I just think they don't learn, they don't evolve. And I just think the fact that there's no accountability held for them, I think some of them should be investigated, personally.
I mean, to be fair, let me preface this. Basically, I asked Ben for a wanker of the week, and he sends one, and that'll make that the wanker of the week. He then explains why he thinks this person's the wanker of the week, and ultimately, that person's probably never ever going to find out that they were the wanker of the week on this show. So ultimately, I feel quite comfortable with it. But
if I had their email address, I'd let them know, but I don't.
To be fair, like, I believe what Scooby is saying is right to the extent of we're doing it like as a jokey thing where, like, you know, it's a bit of a funny thing. But I do not remotely agree with like tweeting him and going, Messia, you're the wanker of the week. Fuck you. Like that. No. That's bullshit. Like that's nothing. But
wanker of the week is it's light-hearted dig at somebody who's at some point during the week I thought wanker.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, who is your wanker of the week Tuesday edition?
Stephen Martin.
Why? Even though we've already done it.
A fucking wanker, isn't he? He's still a wanker now.
Reminded me of Tim Flowers back in the 90s. Real fluky goal. There you go. And who's your wanker of the week for Friday?
Elan. Wanker.
First time winner.
Wanker.
First time winner. Yeah. I mean, he's actually in that photo. Wanker. In that photo, he looks like he's near. If he carries on like that, he's about to finish probably. But anyway, congratulations to Elan for winning something this week.
No, it was a freak goal, and it ain't going to happen every week. But
I hope not.
The guy just fills me with so much nervousness when he's playing, and I don't like that. And if he fills me with nervousness, I can only imagine what
it's really
what the back four feel.
The only Leeds goalkeeper I know of from my like tenure watching Leeds United that I can think that can hand on heart say was a safe pair of hands was Nigel Martin.
Yeah,
Nigel Martin.
And to some extent, Paul Robinson, good goalkeeper. Look, I don't think we got to see the best of him. We got the up and coming, you know. But you weren't nervous when he was in goal.
No, because keep in mind he displaced Nigel Martin, and we thought Nigel Martin.
Have you not heard the story come from? I heard it recently of how Nigel Martin came to leave.
Yeah,
and I do feel that he wouldn't have displaced Nigel Martin if that being the case, where he'd have gone on this pre-season trip.
Yeah.
So you can say he dislodged Nigel Martin, but did he?
No, Nigel Martin dislodged himself from the respect of like Terry Venables going, I want you here sort of thing, and him going, no, I actually want some time off. I mean, it sounds right now, it's actually really easy to just go, actually, that's really unreasonable with Terry Venables to not give you rest or whatever. But at the time, we would have all sat here and gone, you need to get your fucking ass to Malaysia or whatever. But they did when Seaman needed a day off or something. But Nigel Martin, it was very unfortunate that him and David Seaman were keepers at the same time.
Mm.
Otherwise, Nigel Martin would have been the England #1 goalkeeper. But safe as houses.
Yeah, great goalkeeper.
Yeah. So the rest of the championship scores for the week for anyone who's interested or cares or whatever. Basically, feels like a lifetime ago that Burnley won 1-0 against Plymouth Argyle. Apparently, Portsmouth found it really cold up in Stoke. Cold night in Stoke, as they say.
They're a bit of a... Well, yeah, it's just a championship team, and it's Stoke at the minute. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah. I imagine we're going to get a really hard-working Stoke side when we play them, though. Same as Portsmouth gave 100% effort, and I don't think they've ever actually recovered from it. Could be wrong, but still. Obviously, these are this weekend's games. So what's that, Ben?
Did they win today, Portsmouth? I think they won.
No, they drew with Oxford.
That's it, yeah. Burnley drew again as well, didn't they?
Hang on. Sorry. Cardiff play tomorrow, but Sam's referencing midweek where Cardiff won their first game of the season.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Rowney was thrilled. I can tell you for a fact Rowney was thrilled. Yeah, they were. Millwall were not looking great, are they?
No.
I mean, are they ever looking great?
That's a good point, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that Millwall got a point at West Brom, obviously.
I was never fearful of West Brom being top of the league after what I saw when we went there. And we went there a wounded Leeds to basically steady a ship. I think if you'd have got yesterday's Leeds or today's Leeds, whatever, we were taking 3 points there.
I feel sorry for the Leeds fans that went to that game because in hindsight, they very much got we are trying to get a 0-0 win because we've got no attacking flair.
And now you look at it, and it's not such a great point for me. It's like a wasted opportunity. Will it come back to haunt you?
Sam Greenwood heard that the West Brom versus Millwall game will be used as torture for prisoners at Guantanamo Bay. So, yeah. I heard that too, Sam. What about Jack Connell for Bond? I think James Bond should be Idris Elba, just to see what happens. As in the internet exploding.
Owen Wilson.
What, where he'll actually go, the name is Bond, James Bond. Wow. Because he likes saying wow, doesn't he? That's his thing. In 2 weeks' time, I'm baking. So back and forth. What are you baking? The internet demands to know. Sorry, what's that, sir?
Send us them in the post.
Yeah. Right. She has a cooking channel, I believe. Could be wrong.
Cool.
Sheffield Leeds will actually open up the next round of games at home to Sheffield United. Can I surprise you, Sam Greenwood, that Leeds versus Sheffield United will be on a Friday night on Sky? I think it's exclusive. You can only play Sheffield United on a Friday night on Sky at Elland Road. In the Premier League, they'll play at 3:00 in the afternoon because it's nothing. But in the Championship, it's like, this is the biggest game ever in the Championship. Both teams hate each other, and that's just including Chris Wilder. I mean, I don't want to say Chris Wilder's nothing because I hate him because he hates us kind of mentality. But generally speaking, I wouldn't give him two thoughts. They already made...
Fucking fat idiot, isn't he?
They've already made Elizabeth the first black in the series, and why not change everything? Churchill will soon be portrayed as a chubby man who's called Tracy and comes from Canada. Never seen Emery in anything. Emery Cavill, yeah. Leeds under the Friday night lights. I found out, obviously, from the square ball yesterday. Do you know what Leeds' record is on Friday nights in the last 10? 5 out of 10.
50% then.
Yeah. keep in mind, one of those lot, obviously, it should be 6 out of 10.
But it's not
really.
4 losses, is it? Clearly.
No, but, well,
5
one
losses.
of them is the QPR game where they beat us 4-0, which I've tried to purge from my memory.
I'm not a massive superstitious sort of person when it comes to records and things. I just think we make a bigger deal of it, putting more pressure on.
Yeah. My concern with this is the fact that obviously we've got players like Tanaka's going to be coming back from Asia.
Yeah.
And he's going to get at best one training session and then you're in the game. And it's a fairly big game. And I'm not saying the season hinges on it. But, I mean, why can't this game be Sunday at 4 o'clock?
Yeah. There should be no Friday night game.
Because this is, and I'm not saying it like it's unfair to us, because I'm pretty sure in the heart and heart, Sheffield United will also probably have someone on international duty that is doing a trip, because obviously a lot of the players in the Championship will play international football for countries that are not necessarily Italy. It's going to be, you're going to have someone that plays for the Dominican Republic. You're going to have someone who plays for South Korea. Yeah, exactly. They're going to be important to you, but because they're not playing for an important confederation or whatever, Championship, like, fuck it, just play the game on Friday anyway.
They are usually the bigger players in these shitty teams, like Alioski, for example.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing both games. I mean, I'm not so sure Tanaka's going to be playing both games, to be honest. But
Tanaka's usually a sub for Japan, to be fair. Do you know what I found out about Tanaka? You know the goal when Japan beat Spain? That where they was like, oh, the ball went out of play when it didn't, because of the curvature of the ball. That goal was scored by Al Tanaka in the World Cup. Yeah. I mean, changes my life in no way, but I thought it was a weird quirk. Because that goal was obviously going to be played in any World Cup program where, like, this shocking thing happened to Spain. Al Tanaka is the man that did it. I was asked what I'm baking. Keep up. Sorry, Mark Ruffalo's dad. Oh, my bad. I thought early dementia had set in. What? Anyway, what? So she was doing a stone cold. What? Anyway, the league table. Sorry, I can't remember who else was playing. Those teams are all nothing. They'll suck. This is how the Championship looks after game week 9. Admittedly, this is not, and it's up to date for now, but it doesn't account for Bristol City versus Cardiff. Cardiff, now they've got to win. They can be out of this bottom 3 in the next 2 weeks. I'm not in 2 weeks, but you know what I mean. Another 2 games if they win it. Anyway, I don't think it's too shabby that we are still 3 points off the pace despite what happened. I know we've got. Will Leeds be collecting 3 points at home? You must be favourites in that game. Usually, unfortunately, Sam, we win at Bramwell Lane and they win at Ellen Road. Obviously, we need to put stops at. I don't know if that's factually true, but it feels like it's true. But I don't know.
I hear Chris Wilder's got 2 leagues. He's got the 2 points that they had took off him on another league. It's not the case, is it? If you weren't cheating, folks, you wouldn't have had 2 points took off.
Why don't you try paying the transfer fees?
What sort of fucking punishment's 2 points, really?
I think the league are hoping that it means that they miss out on something by a point. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, ultimately they're being punished, so people go, oh, they're not hoping for anything. I mean, they obviously are if they're punishing them, because that's the point of taking points away, right? But it's not like the difference between taking 10 points off someone and 8 points off someone, because obviously that's more lower end of the table kind of punishment. In this situation, I don't know. I mean, before we get into question of the week territory, Who we should do the dipshits? The dipshits. It's a special edition because, as I said, I couldn't be bothered to look up what Andy Hinchcliffe got up to in the last 2 days. Probably did an Everton game for Sky or something. I don't know. It's Don Goodman. All Don Goodman. I can feel how happy you are. Sam Greenwood in the chat thinking, who the fuck's Don Goodman? And that's why I've always been jealous of Sam Greenwood. Is that Ruud Gullit? See, he doesn't even know. That's Don Goodman, former Sunderland and Wolves player. Don Goodman.
Born in Leeds.
And supports Leeds.
Apparently.
And, yeah, but you wouldn't know it if you
He's
ever
the most
actually heard him talk
Leeds fan.
Yeah. Sparty Pants, Sunderland AFC at Spartacus Sunderland AFC said he says he's not against Sunderland, but Don Goodman always seems to see the game from the other team's point of view. Sparty Pants is obviously on crack if he heard the commentary from yesterday. Daniel Fark, not. Nah. 6 minutes. Stoppage time. Don Goodman wants a third 45 minutes. Because he's a cheater. And he wants Sunderland to win. I don't know if it's true. Don Goodman proper hates Leeds. Salty man, says Richard Hamvey. When John Rodon did that in the first half, Don Goodman wanted to bring back public executions, but the Sunderland players do it twice, and weirdly, it's clever defending. How strange. Funny that, Ben.
Yeah.
Funny that. I mean, he's right. I agree with him because I was listening to it. Yeah. Don Goodman giving Andy Hinchcliffe a run for his money in the anti-Leeds United commentary from Mark Dobson, or as he wants to be known, Dobson Pretty G. I don't know what that means.
A serial killer from York called Matt Dobson.
The guy on the right has a penis nose. Hang on. Yes. Some would say he has a penis head.
With Ruud Gullit.
Ruud Gullit and penis man. Penis nose man. 2 things I'll miss least about the Championship. Don Goodman and Andy Hinchcliffe's commentating. They are overtly anti-Leeds.
I like this.
I like the confidence that we're definitely going to get out of the Championship to assume that we're never going to have to see him again.
Even though we're going down.
Yeah. Oh no, they'd bring him in when we play games on Saturday morning again.
Or every week.
Yeah. It'd be like, we're in League One. Anyway, Jay at K65180. Don Goodman's a fucking knobhead.
Yeah, pretty much. Nailed it.
Don Goodman, crap footballer, crap commentator from Grandude NAB It 66.
Nabbit 66.
Nah, yeah, that's actually true. I'm terrible at reading. Umpley. What is it? Umpleby? Umpleby, yeah. 73. I'll assume that's a place in Yorkshire. Or fine. I wish Don Goodman would shut the fuck up. Obviously, he does like Leeds. I'm sure that meant to say doesn't like Leeds. I'm sure as a commentator, he's supposed to be impartial. I think he does the thing where if he does like Leeds, he's worried that people are going to say he's too biased for Leeds, so he does the complete opposite to try and make him.
He's shit no matter what team. He's shit.
And this was my personal favourite one, and I really don't like using the word, but it did make me laugh in real form. Don Goodman, Leeds can't take control of this half, to which Scott Driscoll at Scott Driscoll 2 says Don Goodman is a mong. You don't hear the word mong be used much these days.
You do up north.
Oh. There are so many crap. Sam, out of interest, who's the worst commentator in your opinion? I mean, obviously Neville and Carragher are going to get some flack, but
name a good one. It's a fucking harder question.
I think everyone seems to like the guy that they replaced Martin Tyler with. Is it Peter Drury? But I don't like. I'm not a fan because I think a lot of his he rehearses poems. Sorry, go on, Ben.
Do we need them?
I
don't think we do.
I think football.
I had a nice period the other week where, unfortunately, on my stream, I could only get the away team's feed, and the commentary went off for a good 25 minutes. But obviously, the crowd was still on, and it was great. It was just like being at the game with no idiot chirping in your ear.
I do feel again, my dislike of Drury is like you're trying to give stories to football, but I don't want stories to football. I just want to be told what's happening in sport.
Which is what the EFL sometimes do. Do you know when you're on a red button game or something where everybody's on the EFL on a Tuesday night and they've just got the one guy commentating and he just commentates on what's going on. And it's great. There's no opinion, there's nothing, you know, it's just...
You've made a good point there, Ben, because I didn't mean to sound patronising there. It was more the fact of they made a thing of, we're going to spend more money on the EFL, and basically what they really meant was, we're going to have two commentators on the game, even on the red button. I'm like, no, I'm quite happy with you. The problem with there being one commentator on the one game was that they only watched the game through one camera. So they could only see what you're being shown. Whereas they made a point of, we're going to put more cameras on the red button. So you're basically getting a red button game with as if it's a normal game. Like you'll get camera cuts, and so you can see everything for the most part. But I just want one guy to point out, because he's got a sheet and name, so he's going to get help with knowing who they are. Just tell me what's happening. The point is, you're supposed to know more about the sport than I do, which is actually quite difficult in the way, and I don't mean like to sound arrogant, but most football fans know their sport to some degree. And I know I'm going to hypocrite myself here, because I'm then going to say a lot of football fans are stupid, but their opinions are stupid, but they still know what they're watching. They're just their biases and stuff make them stupid. But I'm sure I hope that makes sense. But,
the fact that they go back next week for the same punishment makes them stupid. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like,
just tell me what's happening.
I don't need to be fed a story to make the game more exciting. The sport itself.
I don't need a pundit that's been media trained to just chat shit.
It's all sanitized now.
Yeah, just go on and say what. Just bring Ron Atkinson back.
I should ask Marcel Desailly what he thinks about that. Anyway, so everyone, it should be time for the question of the week. But before that, we're going to go into the matches through October for when we come back for the. It seems I got the draw right. I really thought we should have won at Norwich before the game, but sorry.
I can't. Even, do you know when you're looking at this and shit, I can't pick us to drop points. Because I just look through total Leeds are great for tinted glasses and think we should beat these.
We should win all of them, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, it's Leeds, so you ain't winning 5 out. Very rare we'll win 5 out of 5. Even though we did win for every game for about 2 months earlier in the year, but anyway, so basically, if I want to get them all right, we need to run the table and beat them all, which we are really capable of, to be fair. But it feels like we'll only be back about 3 weeks, and then it'll be another international break. But
Look, it's even worse after that, isn't it? That we've got 2 weeks of just that was the last thing we saw.
Yeah. It's a lot nicer if you do actually win the game before the break. But I promise I've got a great question of the week, and you don't have to delve into your knowledge of former Norwich players or Sunderland players. I promise you, it's much, much worse. What are we doing?
Shit managers.
Oh, I should have done that. Question of the week. Saturday edition. Right. Who has won more games, Leeds United or Sunderland and Norwich combined?
You've got to go with Sunderland and Norwich.
I've got it displayed here. It's going to show Leeds and Leeds' record against Norwich, Leeds' record against Sunderland, and they'll combine them. Do you think who's won
against
more games individually?
Yeah, I thought you meant in general, as in everything.
Oh no, I've added them up as well.
I didn't just think you meant against each other. I thought you meant against everyone.
Tom the Fiddler question of the week. Well, if I told you that we've beat Norwich 28 times and Sunderland 40 times. So, obviously, that is directed to John. Which obviously gives us a grand total of we've beat them more times than they've beat us combined. Fuck them.
You should say 70, 37. But it doesn't.
Anyway, so Leeds and Norwich and Sunderland, you're our bitches. And unless we stay in the Championship for another 20 years, which might change it, but still. I'm surprised we've only played both of these teams 162 times. Like, it very much feels like we played them all the time. Even though there's obviously a big part of history where we didn't. Like, you know, Cardiff, we didn't beat Cardiff for 31 years at one point.
Because we haven't played them.
Yeah, mainly because of that. But then when we did play them, they beat us. Like in the cup game. And obviously we started playing them in the Championship because they were really got well in the Championship. And we were not. So, but still. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Maybe be back next week. I mean, it depends, quite frankly, on other factors like can we be bothered? No, that's not true. Probably shouldn't say that loud. Can Ben be bothered? Can Tom be bothered? But no, in all seriousness, because there's no football, so it's not really much to talk about. But we definitely will. We'll probably preview the Sheffield United game, and we'll be back for the Sheffield United. The one good thing about the Friday night is I feel like I have more time to put together a show.
We've got plenty of time.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 weeks apparently, but doesn't work like that because obviously technically the main prep actually starts once the match finishes. So other than that, but no, I thought I'd say again, I really appreciate that Ben gave his time on Saturday night. Did me a massive favour.
No problem.
Thank you to the people that did show up as well. Thanks Sam, Rosie, Gary, Robbie as well. Scooby the Cake Master, or Bond. Nice Bond, apparently. I don't mind James Bond. Anders turned up as well. So I appreciate that. I know this is a surprise choice. Thank you. I know this is a surprise choice, but I used to like the commentary of David Pleat because he gave good tactical analysis.
David Pleat, yeah, I remember David
Pleat. The Pleat man. But that's a fair shout, actually, to be fair. Night lads, night ladies. Night. I see what you've done there. You've Eddie Izzard us. Eddie Izzarded us. That was the worst name I should have picked to say that out loud. Ali McCoy's best commentator ever. He's really not bad, to be fair. The thing I respect about Ali McCoy, even if he says something that I don't particularly like or agree with, he carries it with his enthusiasm. He strikes me as a commentator that actually wants to be there, to be paid to watch a football match. Whereas the other guys, like Hinchcliffe, it's like you're doing it because you need the money. Which I can respect. People do jobs because they need money all the time. Like, I get that. But this is a job that a lot of people would do for free. Did I hear what he said about Jack Grealish? Have a good night, Rosie. Enjoyed sponge cake. What did he say about Jack Grealish? There's many ways this could go. I mean, Jack Grealish. So, anyway. Give Rosie a bit of time to think up a lie. What he said about Jack Grealish. But no, seriously, do appreciate Ben giving your time.
You're all right, man. No worries. It's all good.
But good stuff.
So where are you taking Gary tomorrow?
It will be. I'm asking Gary to meet me at the O2 Arena for the buffet, Jimmy's Grill and Buffet. Really nice. Well, I'll say really nice. It's really handy for me because it's fairly close to my house, and it's right outside the cinema that I go to as well. So, said Laura was interviewing him. He has 5 sons, but if he had 5 daughters, he'd trust Bellingham, but he wouldn't trust Grealish with his granny. Would he trust Rooney with his granny though? I couldn't help it. Wayne Rooney got sent off today.
Really?
Yeah. Because Blackburn scored an equaliser in like the 86th minute, so Rooney was sent off in the 87th minute, and then Plymouth proceeded to get 3 more bookings in injury time, and then they scored a goal in the 97th minute anyway to win it. So Rooney actually got sent off for no reason. Well, he was sent off for a reason, but they won the game anyway. What's Granny? What age is she? 140? Probably. So thank you for your time, Ben.
No problem. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. And we'll see you when we see you. Let's go try and end the stream with the intro, outro thing. People would have no idea what I'm talking about when I say that, but I do, and that's the main thing.